Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dealing with Grief and Loss series. With me here today is Chinedu Okwara. I am so excited to have him here because in our culture, for those of you who are watching, Nigerians, Africa, and then many other cultures in the world, it's really not, we're not socialized to really share about grief and loss. We're just socialized to bottle up those emotions, and even for men, I feel like it's even more difficult for them, and the pressure is on more on them because they are usually advised to stay strong, be a man, and all those things. So I'm excited to have Chinedu here today and to share on the loss of his mom and how he has dealt with it. And then hopefully, whatever he shares today will impact some of you who are watching, and some lives, and some people who are dealing with grief and loss. So yes, enough of my ranting or babbling. Chinedu, welcome.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you bringing me to your platform to talk about grief and how we handle it, and so that people who are actually going through the same situation like us would know that they are not alone, and it's good to like be themselves and do whatever helps them. Yeah, but
Do
thank you.
whatever helps them. Very important. Thank you, Chinedu. I also acknowledge that it's not easy to share, and so I'm really appreciative that you have come to share. You've taken out time from your busy schedule to share, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And how are you today? How are you doing? Are you
I
doing
am doing great. I'm doing good. Thanks for
good?
asking. How
Good.
about you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you. I'm doing okay. And I'm excited for this discussion. So, yes, I'll just jump right into the questions. For those who are watching, I'll be asking Chinedu a number of questions, and he will just share from his experience freely and openly with us. So, yes, Chinedu, I had said that you lost your mom. When did you lose her?
My mom passed on the 15th of December 2014. So that's like almost 9 years now.
Almost 9 years. Wow, that's almost a decade. That's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes. How did you react when you first heard the news of her passing?
Oops. Um, the reactions, they were not missed. It was like a very straight reaction, like. So first, how I heard about my mom, and the miss was, I was actually in school when she died, and she was sick between the period I was writing my final exam. So she didn't tell me other stuff. So when it got worse, that was when I got to know that she was sick. And that particular day, I had a dream that she died. And I went to the church that day and was in church praying and all those things. Around 5 p.m., my elder brother called me and was like, Mom wants you to come back. She wants to speak with you. She wants to like talk with us and all this stuff. Normal Nigerian Nollywood movie, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
someone wants to die, they ask all of you to come back. So that
Oh,
was yeah,
exactly.
that was just what came to my mom.
What was
Like,
on your mind?
yeah, was she about to die or what? So I had to like pack few things and went to the bus station, took the next bus going to my home base, right? And while I was actually on the way back home, there is this mortuary, right? That we have to probably like it's like on the highway. So
Yeah.
to that point, my phone went off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my phone went off. Like my phone was fully charged, but it went off. So after three or four poles, after we've passed three or four poles from that mortuary, my phone like tripped on again.
Oh, my God.
So immediately the first message I got was from my cousin, and he was like, "Sorry about the loss of your mom."
Oh,
And I was
my
boss.
God. Oh, my
Out.
God.
Everybody was just looking at me. That shout came with tears. Like I said,
Oh,
I teared up in the bus and was just crying and was shouting inside the bus. So
Oh, wow.
that was it. That was just my reaction.
Your reaction. Oh my God, that must have been really tough. I just imagine, like, as you were speaking, I just everything is just similar to how I heard. My mom died, so I was writing my exams. I was in 300 level, and I heard like, my cousin called me. So when you say your cousin called you, I was like, oh, this is similar because my cousin called me. I was about to go in for my exam at 2 p.m. and she just said,
Oh my
Malo,
God.
I heard your mom is dead. And that's how I heard. I said, no, denial. I'm like, nope, my mom is not dead. No, I went in to write my exam. And it's so interesting that you said this your story, but I imagine when I came out of that exam, the way I fell on the oh my gosh, the way I don't even this is not about me. This is about you. So let's stop my own story. But I just wanted to identify like the similar things with the way when I heard my mom and how you heard that your mom died. That must have been tough to be in a public bus with
Yeah.
people there
Yeah.
wondering what was wrong with you, and you
Yeah.
just had to release those emotions because that was your instant reaction. There's
Oh,
no way you'd have faked it because people were there. That was your instant reaction,
yeah.
and I'm sure people would have been, what's happening? What's going on? Yeah,
You know,
and
you know
so
that I think that was actually my first time experiencing tearing up without even like waiting for like
one,
without even wanting to tear up, right? And
yeah,
tearing up without even like waiting for I don't know how to explain it. You know, most times people first go through grief and think of
mhm,
it and start like crying, right?
mhm,
But it's like an instant. Yeah.
yeah.
And after that experience, I have not had any experience again that would actually even make me like hear it. I would just tear up. No.
Yeah, you see, that's so sad. I mean, firstly, I want to say that I'm sorry. I'm so
No.
sorry for your loss. I really. Uh, it also reminds me that people grieve differently. People's stories are different. As much as it is similar,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same way you heard. It's not the same way I heard. The same way
Yeah.
the way you reacted is not the way I reacted immediately. Right? I reacted immediately, saying denial, saying no,
Yeah.
it can't be
Yeah.
possible. I still went on to write my exam until I came back. I saw a
Yeah.
text message. You said you received it. I saw a text message
It's
after my
a-
cousin had called me. Someone sent me a text message. May her soul rest in peace. I still saw
oh,
that text message. When we're going into the exam hall, when they say, Nigerian exam hall, switch off your phones. As I was switching off my phone, I saw the text message. I switched off my phone. I went to write my exam. So mine was more of denial.
hey.
Yours was instant what? And then tears started coming down. Like that's anyways, let's go on. So we can go on and on and on talking
Yeah.
about this. So yeah, let's go on. So what does grief look like to you, and how has it felt like? So over the past 9 years, what would you say grief looks like? How would you define grief? What does it look like to you?
Hmm. Man, grief is pain. Pain is grief, right? So, how will I define grief? I would define grief as whatever it is that leaves a vacuum that can never heal.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, grief can be anything. It can be the loss of a mom, can be the loss of a dad, can be the loss of a sibling, can be like the loss of a best friend, or even like a
Yeah.
spouse, right?
Yeah.
Even a child. But the truth is, the true grief leaves a vacuum that can never heal.
That can never heal.
It can
Wow.
never. People say it takes time to heal. The truth is, at least for this is 9 years, almost a decade, like you said, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this year, I had a dream of my mom, and I was crying. So that means I'm not
Yeah.
healed.
Exactly. You never heal. I still cry. I still cried last week when I was interviewing someone. I still cry. I just posted the video.
Yeah,
14
and
years after, I still cry.
I have,
You
I
know?
have, I have to shoot with me in case, like, I don't know if, like,
I have
I
to. Exactly.
because I
Exactly.
don't most times it's difficult to talk about her, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this comes up with the next question you want to ask, but most times it's difficult to talk about her. Most times, when you sit back and reflect how you started with this person, the memories you had with
Yeah.
this person laid her life. on the path for you so that you can actually be with
Mhm.
her. And that person
Yeah.
is that here
To
to
see that
experience
life.
that, to see that life that he or she has nurtured, right?
Yes.
It hurts.
It
It
hurts.
really hurts. Like it puts you in that, it seems like it bottles you up.
Yes.
It's very difficult to unbottle.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
that's definitely it. You said something important. You said that like the vacuum, and then just realizing that my mom who did this, who laid her life for me, who sacrificed so many things just to see me become who I am today. In fact, I've even become more than she probably have
yeah,
expected,
exactly.
and then she's not here to see it. It's such a
Yeah,
pain for me. I think that's the most painful part of
yeah.
grief, or one of the most painful parts of grief. So yeah, this goes to my next this leads me to my next question. What would you say is the most painful part of grief to you?
The most painful part of grief to me is when people say they actually understand when they don't understand. Right? You don't really
Yeah,
understand, you are not there. You don't know what I'm going through, right? So don't tell me
yeah,
grief. No,
yeah. Don't tell me how to grieve because you don't
you
understand.
don't understand. My
Yes,
experience is different from your experience, right?
yes.
Who you're, I don't know, whoever you are, whoever it is that you are grieving about or whatever it is, the memories you had with that person can
It's
never
so different.
be the same thing I had with whoever I'm grieving with. I'm grieving for. So
Yeah,
don't tell
yeah,
me how to grieve. All you can
yeah,
do is try to do what? Be there for me. And
yes.
if I still need my space, please give me that space.
Give me that space. Very important. Very important. Like, don't tell me how to grieve. Grieve. People's grieving stories are different. People's connection with their loved ones are
I different.
different.
Yeah.
So you may have a different connection with the person that
Mhm.
you lost, and I may have a different connection with the person that I lost. So it just means that the level of connection will also determine the level of grief,
Yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
yes, for those of you who are watching, I hope that you can take like get learn one or two things about maybe not the grief of your own person, but when you are empathizing with people who have lost a loved one, please, if they say they need space, give them space. If they are wailing and crying for 10 years, allow them. Just be there for them. Ask them how you can be there for them. Ask them how you can help them. But allow them grieve in the way that they feel comfortable grieving. Do not judge them. Do not say, "Hey, it's been a long time. Why are you grieving? Why are you still crying?" Someone once told me, leave her alone, let her rest.
Yeah. So, and that is something else. Like most times, I don't really have conversations of grief with. It's not like I'm trying to be jealous or wish someone evil, right? But most
Mhm.
times I have conversations of grief with people who have not experienced grief before, right? Who have not lost anyone in their life. Because I feel like you don't really understand. And you
Brilliant.
and do you get?
Yeah.
If up to this moment in my life, right, I
Mhm.
still have dreams of this person and still
Yeah.
cry. Like when I cry it out. Not
Yeah.
like not like a dream and just leave. No, I cry and I cry it out. I wake up and see tears, see sweat all over my body, right?
Yeah.
That means I'm not like I'm still going through that process of healing. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's going to take, right? I don't know like if children coming into my life will help me to heal perfectly. I don't
Mhm.
know, but till I get there, just be kind with me.
Be kind, be kind, very important. Be kind, be kind. Now that you mentioned children, I just remember that the last person that I interviewed had a child. And you would think that I'm not trying to discourage you or say that
Yeah.
when you get there, you wouldn't have healed. But the moment when she started crying during the interview was when I said, "Oh, how would you feel? What would you like to say to your mom?" And she says, each time she just wants to hug her. Each time she hugs her daughter, she remembers her mom and she wants to hug her mom.
Yeah.
And then she started crying.
I have two brothers, right? They are both married with kids, right? And
Yeah.
they are the ones that even most times call me on the phone. "Oh, I dreamt of mom today, and she was telling me this, she was telling me that. I didn't want to let her go like in that dream."
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if my experience will be different when I have kids, but if
Yeah.
if they have like they have kids, right, and they're still
Mhm.
having this experience, right, still great.
Yes. Yeah.
So I really I don't know what difference that would make when I have my own kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hope that maybe
That
something
will be.
come up in the future that would
Yeah.
help me like that would help my
Yeah.
healing process. Yeah.
Yes, I like that. And to be honest, like it may not, you may never heal completely, but it
And
may just be that you have a daughter that looks like her. It may just be that you look at that daughter and then you are remembering her, and then you can smile just based on. You may cry sometimes when you
yeah,
look at her, and it reminds you, but you can also smile because you can see some traits of your mom in that daughter. That's what
yeah,
I'm hoping. Even for myself, I'm hoping
yeah,
that okay, there'll be something like that. I remember that I used to say I want a daughter that looks like my mom. Like
yeah,
really, it would be nice to have that. So
yeah,
hopefully we can get those consolations in
yeah,
our lives. Hopefully, by God's grace.
yeah.
Okay, so how would you say grief has impacted your life and your relationships?
So how grief has impacted my life. So, grief has made me realize the essence of like loving, at least for the person I lost a parent, right? So grief has
Yeah.
realized the essence of letting our parents, our loved ones know that we truly love them
Oh,
when that's right. And it has also helped me to like be that voice for parents who their children are not showing that respect or love. Like, hey, you still have your parent here, right? Treat them
yeah.
the same. Like, show them love because one day they will no longer be here. And the
Yeah.
truth is, whether you want to believe it or not, right, you will still miss something about them when they're no longer here. There is something you about
Exactly.
them. So it's just like on Mother's Day. People celebrate Mother's Day. Like, even if I wish you happy Mother's Day and all those things, right? There is something
There's
still,
a vacuum.
yeah. It's not like I'm not happy for people celebrating Mother's Day, but
No?
for them, I'm wishing people happy Mother's Day and other stuff. But I always wish my mom was there for me to like wish her to a happy Mother's Day and all that.
Yeah.
I So it has just like impacted my life in many ways that I want to be an advocate for parents whose children are not showing that love, to let their children
Mm.
know that, hey, you really need to show your parents love. You need to cherish them, like
Mm-hmm.
them as if they will no longer be there tomorrow. Like that
Mm.
as they you will see them, right? Cherish them that much. Uh,
Yeah.
in my relationship, how has it like really impacted? Um, my relationship with my partner, my relationship with friends and other stuff, right? I think I'm lucky to have like a partner who really understands that. Hey, whenever I'm grieving about the loss of my mom, and I let you know that I'm grieving about, just give me space, right? Because you don't really understand what I'm going through.
Okay.
I don't want you to understand that because you understanding that is like you losing someone you love. So don't understand,
Yeah.
but just give me that space. Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend that had to like cut off. Like I had to cut off that friend because of the day I was. My mom was buried on the 15th of January, right? So last year I posted my mom's picture,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I had a little argument with that my friend, and he made a comment. He said while we're still in school, like if he didn't organize people to come for my mom's burial, who would have come? And I
How
was
would
like,
you say that?
even if we're in an argument and you're looking for a way to like win that argument, right?
That's such an insensitive thing to
That
say.
is, that was like the worst. That was like I'm like that was the worst thing you could or you
Tell
would
someone who is grieving
to me, and not even just on any day, on the day she
on
was.
the day of. Wow.
And I'm like,
No, that was so mean of that person. I would have cut the person. I mean, these days I'm so quick to cut them. Like immediately, I would have blocked the person.
I had to look it left, right, and front and back, and was like, let me sit back and ask myself, if I was in his shoes, would I have done something like that? I wouldn't have done something like that. Like I would have even empathize with you
Yes,
at that moment.
yes,
And whatever led to that argument, right? At least he knew that that particular day
was
left,
yeah,
right? So most times, we have mood swings and all those things.
yes,
And
yes,
what makes you my friend is when you understand that I'm not
oh,
actually happy at this moment, and you try to.
yeah,
And there are reasons. You are seeing the reasons. It's not like
yeah,
mood swing that you don't know why. Like
yes.
mood swing that you know that I'm remembering
The
the
loss of
on this day, right? And
yeah.
you viewed my profile, you saw everything, right? And
Mhm.
you people said telling me in that group chat, hey, sorry for the loss of your mom, everything is fine, and all those things. And the best thing you could say in an argument is to remind me that you
That
organized classmates to come for my mom's burial. If it
so
wasn't for
much.
help, would any of my
Nobody will call.
exactly? And I was like, that was so childish of you, right?
Very childish.
I'm like, I'm not wishing you what I'm going through right now, but I know one day nobody's going to live here forever. But one day
Yes,
you would get to realize that
yes.
what you said to me was like the worst you could have ever said to someone who is actually grieving. So
Breathing.
has he affected my relationship? Yeah, because that guy was like one person I felt like we're going to be best friends forever, right?
Yeah.
But the loss of my mom and
Well,
me trying to grieve over her loss
mhm.
known to me, like it made me so aware that I have no future with this friend and all
This
this.
kind of thing. Yeah.
And it also made me like whenever I see people grieving, right? I don't tell them how to grieve. I tell them take your time. Like I
Yeah.
understand what you're going through, and I don't know, like the memory you had with whoever you are grieving about might even be more sweet and more memorable than mine. So
Yeah.
you had to grieve. So go ahead and take your time. Just let me know when you need me.
How
And
I can be there
also,
for you. Yeah.
I respect, like before, maybe I was not doing better with reaching out to people who are grieving, but
Yeah.
I believe I have been able to like build relationship with people who are grieving based on the way I actually approach them.
Yeah.
I had a friend, she lost her mom to cancer, right? And she's only child. So I think I'm the only child as well, right?
I'm the only child.
So she's the only child. And she lost her mom to cancer. And we were not that close. But because of the loss of her mom, that was how we got close because it felt like I knew what she was going through, right?
Yeah.
Felt like I was the only one telling her what she really wants
Wanted to hear.
to hear at that moment, right?
Mhm.
Felt like this guy really has gone through
Understanding.
what I'm going through, and he's not there to judge me that, oh, you've grieved enough, move on, and all this stuff. And right now, like, she's my very good friend, and we have that good relationship based on we are going through something similar. Yeah.
Motherless babies, like I
More or
call
less
them.
babies, more or less babies, yeah.
Motherless babies.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me jump in here to say that if you have even we have listened to Chinedu's story about how he lost his friend, his so to speak good friend, you would understand that there are certain things that you should not say to someone who is grieving. Even if the thought comes to mind, you should try to restrain yourself from
Yeah.
saying certain things. Like just don't say. It's better for you to not say anything than for you to say something that would mar your relationship with that person for life, or you that would even break the person. Right? Aside from maybe marrying the relationship, just breaking the person. Why would you want to be an instrument of that kind of thing? Like, why do you want to be one that would break somebody? So please, guys, as you're watching, be kind. If you don't know what to say, please just keep quiet. You don't know the thing that you say that would trigger the person, right? So just ask them, how do you want me to be there for you? That's a simple question to say. Do you want me to leave you, or do you want me to say something, or do you want me to just watch you? Just ask them, what do you want at this given point in time? That's if you really want to be their friend, right? Some people don't care whether you grieve anyhow, it's not their business. But if you are truly their friend, you will care for them, and it will matter to you that they are grieving their mom. Like, think about it, put yourself in their shoes. Even if you have not lost a mom, think about your mom and think about, like, try to imagine if you lose her and how you will feel. You cannot understand, but just try to imagine. Now I'm getting very emotional because like I'm getting very passionate. So yeah, let's move on
Do you
because
know? Do you know one thing about it is that there is one thing about like having friends with people that grieve.
Mhm.
So you guys might have had the best moment together, but just one word or one sentence or like a sentence, just
Yeah.
argument, and you make reference to the person they've lost, right? Might really
Mhm.
good thing you've done in their life.
Yeah.
That my friend, we've had like good moments, at least when we were still in school. Like we were like very good friends. You know, this
Yeah.
I could then you can't even say anything bad about him to me because you just
Yeah.
once you're saying it, I'm calling him. I'm telling that hey, this person said this.
This.
Exactly
Exactly.
close,
Mhm.
but at that moment that he made that comment, right, I was just like, nothing again, nothing in this life, right, could make sense to me about you
Because
because
it makes you question his friendship with you.
exactly, I'm like, so if you really wanted to win the argument, right, there are other things, there are other
Hmm.
things you can
Yeah.
make reference to my dead mom. Do you get?
Yes.
No,
Very wrong.
that's
Wrong move.
disrespectful. Disrespectful to my late mom, disrespectful to my family, disrespectful to my own emotions, and disrespectful to
Yeah.
you don't do
Yeah.
that.
You don't do that. Very wrong move. Very wrong move. Friend, if you are watching, you better go and apologize to Chinedu. Go and appease the gods.
I'm not sure. I hope he will have the opportunity to watch this, but
All right. All right. Let's move on. How has grief impacted your family?
hmm. So my mom died 2014 and she was buried 2015, January 15th, a month after she died.
Mm-hmm.
And we only have three boys, no girl child. And
Hmm.
let me start with how it has first impacted my dad.
Hmm.
And my dad made a comment. He made a statement on my mom's burial day. He said that he is the fire, and my mom was the fire extinguisher. And he doesn't know if there is a spare part, if there is a spare fire extinguisher for him. Do you get-
Hmm.
So that
Uh,
made that like not just us because we actually know that my mom was like his better half and all those things. But in that sentence, he explained everything. And we tried to be there for him, right? We tried everything to be there for him. That at a point, as boys, we still have to like move on and like and find our own feet and all the stuff.
yeah.
So I left for United States. That was 2016. And when I left, the day I was leaving, he was crying. Both of us were like hugging each other and crying. I told him that he should not worry that before he knows it, I'm going to bring him over to the United States and all the stuff. Do you know that moment I was away? My two brothers were already like married and all the stuff. So that moment I was away, and I didn't know my dad was even going through like he was going through hell based on like he doesn't sleep most time,
Hmm.
like nobody to talk with him and all those things you get. And finally I was able to like bring him to the States, right? And
I saw that.
when he came, he made like he said something. He said, Lord, I'm no longer praying for death. I have seen reasons to live,
Oh
right?
my God.
That day, I don't know, I felt good and I also felt bad, right?
At the same
So,
time.
yeah, I felt like
Oh my God.
for him to have actually made that comment, right, to have made a statement, that means he was
It
really,
has
he
been-
was like, he was just like, there was no
it
point
was
of
asking for
doing
death. Oh my God. Oh my God. Chinedu, I'm so sorry. I'm
it.
so sorry. Oh my God.
He was already asking for, so
Yeah.
it was really a moment that I cherish that moment with him. And it always, that moment reminds me every day that I have to keep working hard for him.
Yeah, so that he has a reason to live.
There's no other reason or purpose for him to be alive. Let him just be alive for the reason that, for whatever made him make that comment that day, let him be alive for that, right? He was,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was his first time traveling out. Like, he said
Yeah.
that there was actually a heaven on earth.
It
And
meant so much to him.
yeah, he
And it
said,
meant so much to his life as well.
and from that moment, like onward, like he has, I know he has not perfectly healed, because most times I'll still call him and be like, how are you doing? We call him and ask him how he's doing. He'll be like, and he's lonely and all those stuff. And since then he has not remarried.
Oh wow, that is actually strange because usually men move on and
So
marry.
I had one of our, let me not, I don't want to like go deep in describing the person, but somebody
Yeah,
that my mom was buried on January 15th, the
yeah.
wife May, and he remarried like January the next year. He buried the
Yeah.
wife in October and remarried January of the next
Tell
year.
the next
And
year.
he didn't just remarry, he wedded, like called like
Oh wow.
people, and was posting on the Facebook, the love of my life. And this person I'm telling you about, like, he had kids that were already in the university.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
So whenever I think of him, I'm like, wow. I know Bible says that death separates people and all those things, right? But
Mhm.
it wasn't even up to 1 year, and he rushed
Mhm.
into a new marriage. Like, I was putting myself
So
in the position of his children, how they would
you
feel, right?
feel at that point.
Even though death has separated you from your partner, but
Mhm.
you guys had children, right? Those
Yeah.
children, put
Yeah.
yourself in their shoes, how they would feel. They can never
Yes,
get
that
another
you
partner. They can
yeah.
never.
But you can
You can
exactly.
get
You have
another
gotten
partner.
another
Yeah, but
exactly.
never. They can never
Yeah.
get another partner. So put yourself in their shoes, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that is what my dad has done for us, right?
So
He had to put himself in our shoes, that we are the one even like asking him, you know what, you have to get married
you
now.
have to get yes,
So
just to help him and help,
uh, I don't know if I would have had the relationship I have with my dad right now if my mom had not passed on, right? But this time around, like, I can stay on call for hours with him. And when I
yeah.
tell my friends that I'm on call with my dad for like hours, they'll be like, what do you guys even talk?
Talk about
Like, you can only be
exactly.
on call with your mom for hours, but for dad,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you guys talk
So it
about?
helps you, it helps you build that relationship with
Yeah,
him. But
yeah.
that's so nice. Like, I mean, that's one of the positives, right? That we'll take from this in the sense that you built a solid relationship with your father
Mhm.
and based because of grief. Yeah, that's the positive we'll take. But yeah, it's nice to hear. Yeah, I can't forget the fire extinguisher
Oh,
phrase. I can never forget it. And then it's so nice to see that you gave him another reason to leave. It's
yeah.
really nice to hear. Okay, let's go on. Do you think I mean, we've talked about this in the course of the discussion. You lost some friends. I was going to say, do you think you lost or gained friends and family members? What did you lose family members? You not talked about that. Did you gain family
So,
members? Did you lose them? Were they there for you?
I did. So, well, who cares? I'm going to say it because I'm still like grieving, right?
Yeah.
So, my paternal aunts, right?
Hmm.
I expected more from them, which I didn't get. So most times I really don't care. But
Yes.
and I felt
Yeah.
like I lost them, right?
Yeah.
Even though if I see them, I say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But most times I just feel like they didn't play the role I expected them to play.
Yes. Yes.
When I,
Yes.
right? This is
Mm-hmm.
like, this is your sister-in-law, your brother's wife. And
Mm-hmm.
I expected them to be there for us, right? Not
Yes.
there for us to give us any financial support, and no, just that emotional support. Do you get?
Exactly.
And do you know the funny part of it is that most times they will still be the one to complain, "Oh, you guys don't call us." I'm like,
Exactly. Like
"Why
what?
should I call you? What did you lose?
Exactly.
What did you lose?" I'm like, "I lost a mom, right? I lost a
Exactly.
mom, and you are still there for your kids.
Exactly.
You guys lost your mom when your mom were like 90 years, 100. Your dad, my paternal dad that died at the age of 107. My
You
maternal
see?
died. My maternal dad died at the age of like 90 something. So you guys already grown ups, right?
Yeah.
Mom when I was 20 years.
Can you imagine?
And you still expect me to be calling you when you were never there for me.
Yeah.
Buried. They were there like strangers.
Mm-hmm.
They were there
I
like
know, I totally understand you because like till today, 14 years after, I don't speak to some of my mother's siblings. And I'm not I and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because they showed me who they were. They showed me that they didn't have like if you could treat your mom, my mom, your sister the way you treated her, then
yeah,
how much for me? Who to
exactly.
so I don't it's not this is not even about forgiveness or anything. It's about knowing who to trust going
And
forward.
set boundaries. Seriously,
Yeah,
like I told you, when I see them, I'll still with them. Auntie, this person, good morning. Auntie, this person, good morning. But I don't have their numbers. If you're expecting me
yes.
to call
I
you,
don't have,
I have to call you
yeah.
because you didn't play. Like I was really young. You know, the thoughts I had. I was like, okay, what if I was still 10 years or 7 years or eight
This is
years?
how you were going to
How
abandon me.
we could have abandoned us. Like
Yeah,
at that point, my dad could even remarry, and you wouldn't even
yeah.
care how the new wife is even treating us.
Treating us.
You get so
Exactly.
that was just the summary of it. And
Exactly.
my mom's sisters, right? They were 100% dear for us, right?
Oh, that's so sweet.
They were still coming to our house to check on us, to even cook and put in the freezer to make sure like
To make
it
sure
was
that
not
you're all
lacking.
right.
So, and that was actually what I expected from my my dad's sister. And they should have even been the one to do it because my dad is their own sibling, right? If
Yeah, the
like
direct.
my dad is their own sibling. So what my mom's sisters were doing for us and my dad was what I expected them to do for us and my dad, right?
Yeah,
But
but they didn't have that connection. So they didn't have that connection because it wasn't their person who died. So maybe that's why it wasn't
maybe
their own blood. But
maybe
again, it doesn't even matter
it
because
doesn't
my
matter.
mom's siblings, who was it was their person. It was their person who died. They were laughing. They were
Do you
laughing. When
know?
I first
Do
saw
you know
them, they were laughing.
that experience, right? That experience I had with my paternal aunt, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
that it has shaped me in a way that I want to do better with my nieces and my nephews, right? Since I don't have sisters, right? I only have two brothers, right? I want to be the best uncle. I want whenever you ask them who is your best uncle from both maternal, but they will say Uncle Chinedu.
They
Yeah,
do.
they have that experience with my dad's siblings, right? They were like,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, I'm telling you, the truth. 1 naira gifts I've not received from any of my dad's siblings.
Even
1 naira.
me. Even me. In
So,
fact, some people would say, "Give me your account number till tomorrow, Chinedu." I
oh,
haven't received
at least they
a,
asked you
a
for account number.
dime.
They asked you for account number, so at least thank God for that. Mine
That,
is none, none of
yeah,
them.
no, I'm not
Instead,
even
they
talking
want
about
to.
siblings though. It was one of our friends that asked me for account number.
Yeah,
Siblings, none. Not even a single contribution to the burial. Not even a single contribution to the burial.
that was
That's
just.
how.
Uh, that was
Yeah,
just.
but
That.
I like how you've turned. So I'm going to I identified something, but I like how you've turned. See, I'm picking some positives from what you said. You've also used that experience to make sure that you are the best uncle to your nieces and nephews. You've turned that experience, that bad experience, to something positive, such
Mhm.
that you know today that if anything happens to your brother, God forbid, or your brothers, you know that you would not act the same way your
They-
paternal,
they-
and acted towards you. So yes, that's positive, and I'm
yeah,
loving that you are changing the narrative for yourself, and then you are changing your grief to good stories for yourself, and then for those that you love, your nieces and your nephews. So I love that. I love that. So yeah, let's we're running out of gist. We've just said so much. All right. What advice do you have for others?
Hmm. Man, I have different people that I'm going to give advice here. Let's start from relations, right?
I love
So,
it.
so
Break it
from
down.
relations, since that was the last thing we discussed, right? When when you have a family member who just lost maybe whoever like they are grieving about, be there for them. From that moment that person, if that person was sick, right? From the moment the person became sick, right? Just always be there and all those things. And when the person is not there anymore, we don't pray they die from sickness. But if it happens and the person dies from whatever sickness it is, right? Just be
Mhm,
there for the kids. Be there like
mhm,
they would. Most times I don't have, right? But there are some of my maternal aunts that will call me. Even though I don't have, I will go out of my way to make sure they are comfortable. Do
mhm.
you get? I will do. There are many things they will do to me, right? I'll be like, you've paid the price, so you can never do me wrong.
Yes.
Never do
That's
me
wrong in my
wrong.
eye.
Yeah, so that's just the advice I would just give people. Like, you don't expect, as of then, none of my aunts would believe I would be where I am today.
Yes.
Nobody knows the future, right?
Oh, yes. Tell
Exactly.
me about
So
it.
if I become Dangote tomorrow, definitely you should know that their lives will go from like 0 to 110, not even 100. Do you get?
Yeah.
So like I'm advising relations like aunts, uncles, right? Whoever you are, if you're not the one grieving, just be there for those grieving, right? You don't know how much impact you are making in their life. You're making they need you. At that point, it might seem like they
Mhm,
don't need you, but as they go through the process of healing, they will sit back and reflect who was even there for me when I was
mhm,
going through this healing process. And they would
mhm,
appreciate whatever you did or whatever you are currently doing for them.
mhm,
Then
mhm.
for friends, if you don't know what to say, just keep quiet, right? Keep
Right.
quiet.
Keep
If you
short.
don't,
I'm sorry.
if you don't know what to say, just keep quiet. Like,
Mhm,
you can just to tell that person you are there. If it's just to keep checking on them and say, I hope you are doing well, it is well. I hope you're doing good, it is well. It is well. That's short sentence, it is well, is more than enough. It is well. Just whatever it is, just know I'm here for you, right? That
mhm,
is more than enough. Do you
mhm,
get it? If you're close
mhm.
to if you're living very close to that person, I tell you the truth. Like most times, just they might not want you to be around, but just
Mhm.
show up when you notice that they don't want to be around. Just at that point, respect their space and go, right? Help them
Say,
do help them like keep help them to be lively, right? If you know their favorite game, play that game with them, right? They would appreciate it. You don't know, but they would definitely appreciate it that you were there when they needed you most. Then advice for those grieving, right? My dear, if your grieving is going to take till you die, it's okay. It's okay. Bible said he's going to send us a comforter, right? So when you want to think about comforter, a comforter is not promising you of total healing. A comforter is just always there to make sure
love that.
whenever whatever you're going through comes up, I'm there to comfort you.
I love it.
I'm not promising you 100% healing, but I am there to comfort you, to give you hope that there is future, right? So if my Bible is telling me that it's going to send me a comforter in the form of Holy Spirit, right, who will be there
Mhm.
to support me? Do you get? You as a human being, don't tell me that by now I'm supposed to have received 100% healing. Or
Yeah.
you don't tell me that. So don't allow anybody to tell you that, oh,
Mhm.
it's 20 years you've lost your mom, let go of her
Okay.
memories and all those things. No, you don't tell me that. Just allow me
Mhm.
to live, right? And just
Yeah.
be for the comforter to come into my life and help comfort me. Who knows?
Yeah.
What might do extra work that would
Yeah.
actually get me like really healed on time more than you.
Yeah.
That's just my
Love it, love it. Thank you so much, Chinedu. This, like, even me, I've been taught by these pieces of advice that you're giving. The comforter doesn't promise
Mhm.
that it doesn't promise you total healing,
Yeah,
but it promises that he will always be there to
always be
comfort you.
there.
So
For
if the comforter will be there to comfort me and doesn't promise, who are you to tell me that I should
sure,
have healed?
I should
Who are
have
you
hit.
to tell me? Oh my
That,
God, I really like that, and I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going
yeah.
to hold on to that. Okay. Tell us about your person quickly. What favorite memory? I know that it's a broad question. You can go from now to tomorrow talking about your mom. So yes, just what favorite memory do you have of her? And then what do you miss most about her?
So what I miss most about it is how my mom calls me. Like,
How
I
is
don't
that?
know. Let me start with, so my elder brother, our first son went to a boarding school, right? So this
Okay.
one actually, that one gave me like 6 years gap. So the second
Okay.
one left. Once he finished high school, with secondary school, he got admission into the university. So it was like I was just the one living with. I was the only child living with.
Oh, at the time.
And as of then, I felt like you guys were bored. I was doing everything to leave the house. You get,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
too much. You guys are bothering me. I have to be the one to
Yeah.
sweep the compound, to
To
wash the
do
car,
all this.
to cook,
Yeah.
because my mom had to. My mom thought all of us had to cook, right?
You
Three of us.
see? You
And
see?
my dad helped to enforce it. When my mom is in the kitchen, my dad will push all of you to the kitchen.
I
Like,
love that. Even
all of
as
you go and
boys.
help her. She's not going to die because she doesn't have a female child. You guys must help her.
Child.
So
Mm-hmm.
we all know how to cook. So my mom, she was nedu ma, nedu, nedu. That word
Oh,
nedu. Whenever I think, like, if you call me nedu, most times, right?
just
If, like, I have that feeling of, oh, like I just remember her. And
how
she
my
was
mom.
nedu ma. And do you know the fact that the only person in my house that first brought out that initiative of me traveling out was my mom, right? She had one of her siblings, not her, that's like her cousin, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
lives the United Kingdom. Then, as of when I was still in school, my mom would call her and be like, "Oh, please remember my son. No, whenever he's done with school, you bring him over to the United Kingdom. I want him to travel out. I want him to do those things." Those things." And my dad was this type that people make it in Nigeria, not travel anywhere. The people that travel doesn't remember home. Do you get? So that was my dad's
Mentality.
mentality. But
Mm-hmm.
my mom really wanted me to travel out. This life I'm living, this dream I'm living right now, that's my mom's dream.
Look at
It's for her.
that.
Do you get? So whenever I think of it, like, I have that mixed feeling of happiness and sadness. Do you get?
Yeah,
And
because you're living her dream,
yeah.
but she's not here to see you live her that dream. Mm.
Then one memory of my mom, like most times, even though then I was seeing it like it was like a very, very horrible one. But now whenever I think of it, I smile, right? Is that when I was growing up,
Yeah.
so there was this my friend, he used to grow potatoes and all those things. He will plant and all those things. And
Mm-hmm.
so after harvesting the potato, he gave some to me. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
far it was that day. So I had to go use my dad's plate to fry that potato. There was frying pan, there was pot, but I used I used my dad's plate to fry potato. Ah, how foolish was I, Jesus! So that day, my mom got home and she was so tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my mom told me that, hey, Chinedu, help me to peel the yam. She wanted to make porridge yam that day. And I was grumbling. I was like, Mommy, I'm tired. I just got like school then. I would dismiss around 5 p.m. and I had to
Mm-hmm.
face, had to do other home chores. I was like, I'm tired. And she was petting me then. I was being stubborn. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm tired. I can't do this. And okay, she was like, no. And after eating that, I left that plate in the sink. I didn't even wash it. So she just left me and went to do her thing. She went to peel that yam, do you get? And she was now looking in and just saw a plate in the sink and there was light. She was like, what is this? Like, when did this colorful plate turn to black? How did it turn to black?
Mm-hmm.
You get? So she picked it up and was like, this plate was cooked. Like, it was used for cooking. And she called me that has been doing shakara, right? And was forming, I'm tired, I'm tired. She called me, what did you use this plate for? I said, I use it to fry potato. Well, who gave you potato to fry? I'm like, my friend Onyekachi gave me potato to fry. And she was like, so you used plate to fry potato and you left frying pan, you left pot and you used plate to fry potato.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah. She was like, okay. That anger,
You
every
deserve a big slap.
my mom pushed me. So my mom's room is like a master's bedroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Connected to that room. So my mom pushed me inside that room, and I wanted to run out from that master's bedroom to the other room to run away. My mom went, she noticed what I wanted to do. She locks the other room and brought it back. And that plate, she damaged that plate on my head. Like, and I couldn't cry out loud because my dad was in the living room.
Oh,
And
so you didn't
my dad
want.
is a disciplinarian. My dad is like, my
Ah,
dad
that would have
is
been
my
double for
dad.
you.
Feet, eh? My dad flogs us on our feet, like under your, what do you call it? Under your feet, right? That's
So, mhm.
yeah, that's how he flogs us. So, and he does
Oh
that
wow.
either cane or cable wire.
Oh
So you
wow.
don't shout. That time, I was just like, and she was hitting me. I didn't want to just tear up or shout so that
Yeah.
can you still see me?
Yes.
Yeah, I know it would have been horrible. So now, just whenever I think of it, right, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I wish she's still here for us to like laugh over it and like,
I
yeah,
know. I
yeah.
know. Yeah, that would have been something to laugh about. Like
Oh
I'm
my God,
already
that was
laughing. I wasn't there, but I'm laughing at
yeah.
the whole situation.
Like I was like, if she was still here, I know she would one day tell my children that story. Do you get?
That's yeah,
And
they
yeah, she would
will.
have. We should have
Mm-hmm.
made fun of me with that, and we would laugh over it. That sometimes I remember
Over.
it, I would just laugh. And there was actually a day. Right, another memory of her I had was there was a day. Right, I got home. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what pushed me that day. I swept her room,
Oh,
rearranged everywhere, dressed her bed, like all the clothes, like you ladies' clothes and room and all those things. Most I had to like
yeah.
get hanger and arrange everything and fold every cloth and turn on the fan just to keep the room chill. That I don't know she was really sick. She got home that day, and when she got home, she entered that room. When she entered that room, she was like, "What? Like did somebody change my room?" Or what?" She got into
Mm-hmm.
that room and she was so relaxed. She was Chinedu. I'm like, yeah, she was so happy. That day she
Just
prayed. She was
you
praying for me and
see,
blessing. Well, the children will do you well. Your children will
you
do you
see.
oh my. So whenever I remember it, I get that reassurance that my children will never treat me wrong. Like they will treat me well. Yeah,
Yeah, because she prayed for you. Wow, that's so nice.
yeah,
Such lovely memories. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. All right, we're just going to go. Okay, if you had the opportunity to speak with her, what will you tell her?
Ah, I have had. Will I say so? All the dreams I have been having with her, right? I always
Yes,
talk to her, right?
I love
And I
that.
and the question I always ask her is, "Are you back to life?"
You back to
I really want her back. Like, I really want to see her once again. There was even one dream that I had, and I saw her singing, celebrating, like she was dressed in full white and all the stuff, and she was smiling. And the question I was asking her, "Mommy, are you back to life? Mommy, why are you laughing? Are you back to life? Are you back to life?" And I don't know if it was tears of joy or like I don't know, but I woke up sweating and tears all over my body. And
because
the only thing I want from her is just to have her back to life.
back to
That's
life.
just the only thing. I don't know what to ask from her again. That just I just
Yes,
want
I
to like
just come.
I just want to see her and like
Interesting.
cuddle
Mm-hmm.
her, like
Mm-hmm.
share everything that have happened for the past 9 years. She wasn't here. Let her know that
Yes,
she
she's
got the best husband, and let her know that her children are actually doing good and all those. I don't know if it's even worse with our first son because our first son, like that one, he posts her picture even on her remembrance. He posts even on the days that normal days, and like
yeah,
his own is like something else. But
something
I know we all
of
have different ways of like grieving our
of
loved ones. But
grieving. Yeah,
one thing I wish from her is just like if I see her now and I'm to make a wish, that wish is come back to life.
come back to life. I
Yeah,
know, I know. That ah, yeah. I wish that I will wish so for you. I wish so for me. I wish so for all the
yeah,
people that are
yeah.
that are grieving. But unfortunately, I mean,
Unfortunately,
hopefully she always shows up in your dreams. My mom shows up in my dream, and I actually look forward to those dreams. So
yeah. I look
hopefully,
forward to
if
those
that's the
dreams.
way God wants her to show up in your life, she'll continue to show up, and hopefully you continue to make her proud. I'm sure you have made her so proud, and I'm sure she's looking
Yeah,
down, smiling over you, and proud of who you become, because this is her dream. You become. Imagine your dad saying that you giving him a reason to leave. Imagine if she was here. I should have
Yeah.
said, "You do what? What you have done?"
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. On to the game of choice. Quickly. Grief ends versus grief never ends. Which would you choose?
Oh, grief never ends.
Grief never. Apparently, we move on versus we
The only
never do.
thing is like it might, like the level is just like the way they tell you, like the the derivation you get from, like when you eat a food when you're hungry, the derivation
Mm-hmm,
you get from eating that meal can never be
mm-hmm,
compared to like maybe when you're no longer hungry, right? You don't rush it, yeah. So with grief, right? The way you grieve at the initial stage, right,
mm-hmm,
is never the same way you grieve now. Like every like it seems like the stage keeps like it seems like you are healing, but you're not like
mm-hmm.
100% healed.
Yeah,
So
it
it never
changes. They say
ends.
grief
Yeah.
changes. Grief changes with time. Okay, we heal completely versus we heal in bits, but never completely.
We heal in bit, but never completely.
It happened for a reason versus there can never be a logical reason.
Ah, with my mom, I think I would say there was a reason, but most times I just want to say that there was no logical reason.
Logical
Like,
reason.
why would someone decide to like leave me in pain, right?
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
I feel like there is no logical reason about it.
Hmm. Dream of your loved one versus never dream of them. I mean, we already
I
established
dream
that.
I dream of them, like I dream
And
of
I want
I
to dream
and
of
you know
her.
some people will tell you, oh, why is this seeing her in your dreams? Stop seeing them in your dream,
Yeah,
all those things.
that you
It's
don't
not
see
good.
dead people is not good.
I'm
Please,
like, that's your
when you lose your
business.
mom, when you tell me whether you want to see her or not.
Exactly. I'm like, that's your business. Allow me
That's
to
a bit.
allow me to see her every time in my dream.
Exactly. I want to see her. You stay there. When you lose your mom, don't when she comes to your dream, chase her away.
Tell her to go.
All right. Have her back. No, this is already you already established it. Have her back versus never have her back. Of course. You already said
Have
it.
her back.
You want to
Yeah.
have her back.
That's my only wish.
That's your only wish, exactly. I still have so many unanswered questions versus the divine has shown me in different ways why they took her.
The divine has shown me in different ways why they took her. So my mom, my mom was a philanthropist, right? She was a businesswoman and she was also a corporate woman, right? But do you know her salary
She
never
will give
comes
it to
home?
everybody. Uh-huh.
She gives it out. Like it got to a point that we'll ask her whether are they using juju on you or what? Like, are they using juju on you? Nobody can even explain. And do you know? So the day she died, the next day after she was buried, right?
Mhm,
My brothers already went back to Aba and all those things,
mhm,
and I was in the village with my dad. We were to leave the
mhm,
next day. So we have three gates connected to our compound, right? From three
mhm,
endpoints.
mhm,
So one old woman walked in to our compound. My dad was sitting in front of the living room and the door was open. And before you get to me, you have to pass through that door to get to me. The woman passed through that door. My dad didn't see her. And when she was coming, the gate she was coming from was locked. I was very, very sure that gate was locked because my mom's burial, where she was buried, was close to that gate. So we locked it, right? After
mhm.
the burial was done. So we locked that gate and was using the other two gates. But that was from the gate that woman entered. And when she was approaching me, I was seeing my mom's face.
Mm.
And she approached me. She told me a lot of things. She even told me that my dad is not going to remarry depending on how we treat him. Yes.
Wow.
And she told me that she's aware that my two brothers, they've gone back, right? That I should pass the message across to them and all those stuff. And that was when I knew that I have the answer I need. And that dream I told you about, that I saw her in white garments, like she was
Mhm.
rejoicing and all those stuff. That one told me that she's already in heaven.
Good. Good.
Exactly. And I
Good.
was calling her, can you come back? She was just smiling. There was songs of victory and everybody was clapping. And she was just in white, seems like she was on a throne and she was just smiling. And the next day, her sister gave birth to like her quadruplets.
Her sister was pregnant with 4 children. The next, no, not like that was like, I had that dream around like 3 o'clock, around 6 o'clock in the morning. We were called. My sister gave birth to her
Mm.
brother and all those stuff. And I have had like many events, many dreams that had
Understanding.
shown me
Yes,
that
understanding.
there is a reason for her. And she wasn't really that kind of wearing jewelries and all those heavy makeups and all those things. My mom was
Mm-hmm.
very simple and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to that point when we're already growing up, like my other brothers already seeing money. And it felt like we're trying to get her to a kind of life she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really for and all those things, like trying to like, even though you don't have a
Yes,
daughter, but we want you to be like,
look. Mm-hmm.
paying and all those stuff.
Yeah.
So what
Most times I just feel like maybe it's just divine that God really we might have actually taken her off from that path of righteousness. Do you get? Because like
Mm-hmm.
heaven, all those things, and God knew that. Okay, you know what? You guys are trying to overdo. Let me just take this woman out now. Give her
Yeah,
like
it's possible. That's a
that.
possibility.
Just sit
That,
down. Yeah,
mhm.
that's
That's
just
it. I mean, the longer we stay, the more sins that
it's
we commit on this earth. So who
yeah,
knows? Who knows? But yeah, thank you so much, Chinedu. Thank you so much for sharing. I've enjoyed this conversation. I've enjoyed the discussion. I've also learned from it. I've also picked one or two things, one or two phrases that I would hold on to, even for my own grieving experience. And I'm hoping that those who are watching would hold on to things like comfort doesn't the Holy Spirit sends you comfort, but it doesn't necessarily mean that He's promising you total healing. But
yeah,
He will send consolations, He will send comfort, at each point in time of your grieving process.
yeah,
And as much as we expect to heal, we should not put pressures on ourselves to say, I want to heal tomorrow. No, there's no end time, there's no time frame. It's just take your time, grieve at your own pace.
yeah.
So yes, we've come to the end. Chinedu, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you taking the time to share. Your stories have been so uplifting for me and inspiring. And I hope that your mom's memory continues to live on in your heart, in your life, and in the lives of those that she loved.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
thank
and
you.
have a good one.
You are so